Hello, my companions. Welcome to A Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And that ain't no jive. What are we here for? What did we show up for? What is our purpose? Well, today we're going to talk about the invitation to the Holy Spirit, which is the invitation to your loving right mind. The Course in Miracles defines the Holy Spirit as our loving right mind. And that's what we want to guide us instead of our fearful, wrong mind, which the Course in Miracles calls the ego. So if you want to invite the divine in you, if you're ready to invite the higher power in you, we're going to talk about how you allow that to happen. How do you allow the love to happen? How do you invite love and freedom and truth and abundance and forgiveness and happiness into your life? We're going to talk about that today. So we're going to start out with our theme song, which is one of the most important lessons in A Course in Miracles, which is I am not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. The world I see, cause what's happening now is what I've done to me, and that includes the good stuff. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Oh yeah. Remember that you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Say what? I'm not a victim of the North. I'm not a victim of the South. Not a victim of anything. So what comes out my mouth? I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me, including the good stuff. Help me out now. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Now guess what? Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe, hard to believe. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And others may seem to be quite startling. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see.
'Cause what's happening now?
What's happening now?
Is what I done to me.
Down, 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 down. Oh yeah. Wow. Oh, I remember when that was painful. I remember when hearing that thing. I did this to myself. I can't believe it. Why would I do? That would be the question that mostly would come up. Well, why would I do that to myself? Well, how much time you got? We're going to be on page 72 in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. We're going to do chapter 5, and I want you to read ahead, those of you who are in the book, because chapter 5 is the chapter in the Course in Miracles that's all about your loving right mind, your Holy Spirit, how your Holy Spirit operates, how your loving right mind operates, how your divine mind operates, and how your God mind operates. Okay, so if you really want to be able to take advantage of your right mind, well, the Course is saying, well, you need to know how it operates, right? If you're going to drive a car, you need to know how to drive a car. You need to know the mechanics of it. You need to remember what it takes to drive a car. If you forgot how to drive a car, then you couldn't drive a car. And if you forget what the Course is saying, how are you going to do what the Course is saying? So that's why I call myself the divine repetition teacher, the remembering coach, because I'm not here to analyze the Course. I'm here to help us remember what it's saying. And so the Course in Miracles, on chapter 5, Healing and Wholeness, it says some of the ideas you might actively resist, some of the ideas you might find hard to believe, and some of the ideas may startle you. And nobody's asking you or me to judge the ideas or analyze the ideas. It says if we use it, that will give the ideas meaning and show us that they're true. So I'd like to ask you right now to just take a deep breath and take about 30 seconds to allow yourself to become centered and focused into the present moment. One of the easiest ways to focus into the present moment is to become aware of your body, to become aware of how it feels sitting in a chair or wherever your body is right now. Become aware of the temperature of the room. Become aware of how your clothes feel on you, provided you have some on. You want to just become totally conscious of your environment. Whenever you want to be rooted in the present moment, all you have to do is to be present in your body in this moment. And so, a quick review. Do you know that we were told last week that to heal is to make happy? So when someone says that they're going to be healed, they're saying, I'm ready to be happy. It's only the happy person is a healing person. Then we were told last week to think about how many times and opportunities you've had to make yourself happy when you didn't do it. Then it says, whenever you refuse to make yourself happy, that's the same as saying that you have refused to heal yourself. So if you don't want to heal yourself, you keep yourself in situations and circumstances and relationships that you don't give yourself happiness in. If you thought of it as if you were in a relationship that didn't make you happy, and you said to yourself, I'm making myself sick in this relationship, then you would understand why you said to that person, you make me sick. You make me sick is a very accurate statement when you're in a relationship of any type that you're constantly unhappy in and you're constantly attacking each other in. You are literally making yourself sick. And if the same thing is true about yourself, if you're constantly judging yourself, putting yourself down, you're making yourself sick. So it doesn't always have to be another person that you're making yourself sick with. Sometimes I have said in my life, I'm sick of me. I don't know if you've ever said to yourself you were sick of you, but I've said I was sick of me. So that means that day I was refusing to do what? Make myself happy. Then the Course in Miracles says, the one cool thing about having joy is whenever you feel joy, it will promote your impulse to respond in oneness. So when you're feeling joy, you will want to be and experience oneness with everybody around you. Because let's face it, you don't really want to feel one with people when you don't feel joyful and they aren't either. So if I'm feeling good, usually I want to share that with someone. Just like if you bake a really beautiful cake, you generally want somebody to have a piece of the cake. You know, so when you're feeling good about something, it naturally promotes your impulse toward oneness, toward connection. So I don't know if you know it or not, but just in what we've said so far, we heard some really powerful thoughts. If you want to heal, don't feel guilty about doing what makes you happy. Think about how many times you have an opportunity to make yourself happy and you don't. That's the same as refusing to heal yourself. If you let yourself be happy, you will automatically want to extend in oneness. Then the next thing we heard last week was, whenever you attempt to heal without being completely joyous yourself, if you're trying to make someone else happy, but you're not really happy, he says what's going to happen is you're going to call forth different responses from that person. So if you're wondering why you don't see consistent joy coming to you from other people, it's because you yourself are not completely joyful yourself. Because everything in the outer world is a reflection of what's going on within your mind. And the world is It's a three-dimensional mirror of what's going on inside your mind. It's not a three-dimensional mirror of what's going on inside you. What you see in the outer is a reflection of what's going on in your mind. You are love. You are whole. You are loving. You are perfect. You are healed. You are confident. You don't get mad. You don't feel fear. You don't feel guilt. You don't. Your divine self doesn't. Your real self doesn't. So when you're reading these books that say what you see in somebody else is in you, it's not. Unless what you're seeing is love, it's not in you. Okay? If what you're seeing in other people is what's in your mind. See the difference? Okay. Then it says, when you are not joyful, then you are depriving other people of the joy of being able to respond wholeheartedly. So what I got out of that so far was that this Holy Spirit is telling us the importance of you allowing yourself to be happy. That being happy is not a selfish thing. Allowing yourself to be happy and doing what makes you feel fulfilled is the best thing you could do for everybody you know and everybody in your life. Now, most people have the backwards attitude of, I'm going to make somebody else happy even when I'm not happy myself. I'm going to bring joy to someone else even if I'm not a joyful person. And the Course, it says, no, first you allow yourself to take advantage of the opportunities to be happy. And when you allow yourself to be happy, you are healing yourself. And when you're really happy, then you can call forth more consistent happiness in the people around you. Okay, everybody with me on that one? Okay? Then the Course says, now, to be wholehearted, you have to be happy. So the first mistake that the truth teaches that we make is that we tell ourselves our happiness depends on something being different outside of ourselves. Do you know that every time you say your happiness is dependent on something outside of yourself being different, the Course in Miracles says you are coming up with the formula that guarantees that you will not have consistent happiness. I'll say this again. Every time you say this thing outside of me needs to be a certain way before I can experience happiness, that is wrong-mindedness. The Course in Miracles says you are absolutely guaranteeing that you will fail in having what kind of happiness? Consistent happiness. I personally no longer want my happiness to depend on what somebody else does. I no longer want my happiness to be dependent on what somebody else says or does not say to me. So if you really want to be happy, even though we've been totally conditioned to look outside of ourselves, so nobody is denying that we have totally been brainwashed into believing that it's that house, it's that car, it's that job, it's that weight, it's that position, it's that relationship that you're looking for, and that's going to make you happy. I defy any one of you to be completely honest with yourself and say that you ever gotten anything in your life that satisfied you to the point that you weren't immediately or very soon or very rapidly looking for the next thing that's going to give it to you. If that's the case, you should be and I should be completely happy right now because you're not looking for anything else because you're feeling satisfied right now. So if any of us are sitting up here right now and we feel any type of dissatisfaction or frustration in any way, you are using the formula that I just said that the Course said you shouldn't be using in order to be happy. This is just to kind of help us get out of denial. Okay? If you're sitting up here right now and you're telling me, and you're telling yourself there's anything outside of yourself that needs to be different right now, what are you doing? You are using the ego's formula for happiness that does not give consistent happiness, because the Course in Miracles does not count temporary happiness. It does not give any reality to a happiness that's up and down, here today, gone tomorrow. That is not the Course in Miracles definition of happiness. The Course in Miracles calls that a special form of fear. A form of fear that you like. I like that. He calls it a fear. In other words, I want this relationship, and I'm feeling a lot of fear around this relationship because I think maybe I could lose it, or can I hang on to it, or how could I make it better? So actually, this is a special form of fear that I like. I got this job, now I'm worrying about, can I hang on to it? Can I move to the next level up the ladder? Okay, you have another very special form of fear. So anything I'm afraid of losing that I'm enjoying is fear. Wow. What I like about this book is that it won't let me get in denial about where I am, if I'll be honest with myself. And I love denial. If it wasn't for denial, I wouldn't hardly ever feel good. Can we get real? If it wasn't about, I'm pretending that a lot of things are not going on in the world so I won't be depressed.
Amen.
Right? That's what we do. We call it happiness, but really what you're doing a lot of times is just a spiritual bypass. You're just pretending that there isn't all the stuff that's going on in the world so that you can feel good. Mm-hmm. You're not really, you really are really just in total denial about what's going on, but you can't handle it. So you pretend that, I don't read the news, I don't look at the newspaper, I don't da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not saying you should if that's what you want to do, but just because you don't read it don't mean it ain't happening. Okay. There's a storm bearing down on Denver. Would that storm not bear down on Denver because you didn't watch the weather? Okay, that's my point. That you can pretend that things are not happening, that's not happening, so you can feel better. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. So what is this telling us? It's saying, well, if you're going to be wholehearted, what do you need to be? You need to be happy. So my instruction to you is that your goal should be happiness. Then the Course says, fear and love cannot coexist. What does that mean? You're either feeling fear or you're feeling love. Or you're feeling fear or you're feeling love. You're not feeling fear and love. From moment to moment, from second to second, you're either experiencing happiness or you're experiencing unhappiness. You're experiencing love, according to the Course, or you're experiencing fear. And if fear and love can't coexist, and do you know that it's impossible to be completely fearful and be alive? If you were 100% fearful, according to the Course, you'd die. Wow. So since you can't really be 100% contracted from love and still be alive, then the only possible state of wholeness is love, and the Course defines love as freedom. So the only possible whole state is to know your freedom, to be free. That's your whole state. Now, your ego is going to tell you that then you should work really hard to have freedom of your body. That you should be working really hard to make sure your body is free, that your body can go where it wants to go, and your body isn't limited to what it can do. And the Course in Miracles said, no, your body can never be free. What? Your body can never be free. Why? Because there are limits to what the body can do. So since there are limits to what the body can do, there's no such thing as having a free body. And I know that's been especially true in my dating life. I've yet to have a free body. It cost me something. It cost me something, right? You know that's right. And so the Course in Miracles says, now, do you know that there is no difference between love and joy? Why is that important? Stop saying you're expressing love with somebody you're expressing anger to. Stop saying that you love somebody that you're criticizing and you're condemning and you're saying, if you were different, I'd be happy. If you were different, I'd be happy. If you were different, I'd be happy. That is not love. That is what? Fear. You're afraid of that person. So the Course in Miracles says, how can you tell when you're experiencing love with me? We are experiencing joy together. We're experiencing happiness together. When it's the most loving experiences I'm having with somebody is when I'm smiling and we're having fun and we're feeling great and we're feeling really grateful for being with each other and around each other. That's love. One of the things that's a challenge to me about the Course in Miracles is that it makes things so simple that I just have to admit that I don't want to do it right now. I can no longer say I don't understand. I just have to admit I don't want to do it. Y'all feel me? Because what could be simpler than to be told there's no difference between love and joy. If you're experiencing love, you're experiencing joy. If you're experiencing love, do you love your job? I have nothing but joy on my job. Do I love that person? I have nothing but joy. And then the ego says, well, you can't feel joy with somebody all the time. If it's fear, you're right. If it's a special form of fear and it's a regular special relationship that the world does, where everybody has 100 scripts on each other, you're right. But we're talking about the real deal. And do you know the Course says we don't have the slightest idea what the real deal is? Right. So don't beat yourself up if you find out that you are not displaying the characteristics that I'm hearing about. It's just telling you this is the way it's going to be when you get there. So this is what you should aim for. You should be with people that you give yourself joy with. You should be doing something for a living that you give yourself joy with. That's basically what it's saying. Go for the joy. Go for the joy. The book has the audacity to say, recognize misery and go the other way. It did not say recognize misery and analyze it. If I'm walking along a path, hiking, and a mountain lion comes up in front of me, I'm going to recognize misery and I'm going to go the other way. I'm not going to say, could we process this? Because I don't want to have fear of mountain lions. So let's work this out, so I can see you correctly. No, you get the heck out of there. Recognize misery. This book has the audacity to say that one of the main steps to achieving happiness is admitting to yourself how miserable you feel. Where positive thinking tells you you would never say I feel miserable, because if you say you feel miserable, you're going to create misery for yourself. But if you already feel misery, you've already done it. So don't worry about creating it. You're already feeling that way. It's just saying tell the truth about how you feel right now. Because if you admit to yourself that you're unhappy right now, then you'll be more open to moving in the direction of what would give you happiness. Because you're admitting to yourself that you're not. I was watching Adele having an interview with Oprah, and one of the things that she said about getting a divorce was it wasn't that her and her husband were at each other's throats or anything like that. She just knew she wasn't feeling what she knew she should be feeling in love. That she wasn't having the kind of feeling that she felt she should have, the kind of joy and fulfillment, not that it's going to come from him, but she just knew the situation was not true to her being. And all of us know that. All of us know what that feels like when we know something doesn't feel right, but we still keep on dealing with it anyway. And then we'll even use truth to justify staying in the situation that's not giving us peace. I don't want to bail. I'm not blowing my commitment. Well, is your commitment to happiness, or is your commitment to staying in a situation whether it makes you happy or not? What is your commitment to? So the Course in Miracles says, if you want to be completely whole, then what do? It says, well, you have to be completely joyous. So to heal or to make joyous is the same as to integrate or to make one. So that's different to me. What are you saying, Spirit? Well, I'm saying to you, when I say that you all need to experience oneness with each other, what I'm saying to you is you need to be experiencing joy with each other. So that all that stuff about we're one should be we're one in joy. We're one in happiness with each other. Now, the average person doesn't reflect an outer persona or personality that even makes people want to come up to them because they look joyful. I'll say that again. The average person does not express any kind of a personality that is so joyful and so inviting that people want to be one with them. Most people's persona, when they're not with a special person, is something like, doesn't exactly make you want to rush up. But if they're that's a little bit more inviting, right? So if I want to be one with you, the first thing I should try to do is smile with you. The first thing I should do is have a more pleasant countenance around you. If I really want to see the world respond to me, wearing my heart glasses has created more hugs from strangers and good energy from people, and people offering to buy me drinks and giving me spontaneous hugs. And you wouldn't even believe how people have reacted to me just wearing my heart glasses. Why? Because it brought joy to them. And because it brought joy to them, they wanted to connect with me. Right? And so everything the Course in Miracles says, I promise you that if you open your mind, you will see that it's nothing that it's saying is theoretical. It will always be something you could see actually happening in your life right now if you did it. So sometimes when you think you're pleasant and you think you're smiling, don't change your expression and go look in the mirror. Like, keep your expression exactly like it is, and then go look in the mirror, and you'll see what everybody's seeing. Why there may be a part of you wondering why more people are not attracted to you or want to be around you and things like that. It's because to be joyful is to cause people to want to respond in oneness with you. All right? So it makes no difference. This is the cool part. He says, and this is why it makes no difference about what? To what part, about what part of the sonship the healing is offered, everybody benefits and benefits equally. What are you saying to me? That if I offer happiness to you, everybody's going to benefit equally. If I offer love to you, everybody's going to benefit equally. It doesn't make any difference which one of us has love offered to us and peace offered to us. All of us benefit equally. If I get a shot in my shoulder, it circulates all over my body. So because we are all one, whatever enters any one of our minds, one of us enters all of us if we're one. Think about that. Think about that. It makes no difference to what part of the sonship, which the Course defines as the family of love, that's us, the healing is offered, every part benefits. So are you saying if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I treated that person in that relationship as lovingly and with as much gratitude as the Course in Miracles is telling me to do, then everybody's going to benefit. The whole world is going to benefit from that. That's cool. Now, if I'm with you in a relationship, and I say I'm with you in a relationship because we're good friends or we're partners or lovers or whatever, then that means you should be someone that I'm especially enamored of, and actually more enamored of than anyone else. That's why you're this special person. So when Truth asked me to be loving and practice forgiveness with my partner or whoever is close to me, that should be like the easiest person that I'm being asked to give the love to first. So if you tell me I could take the person that I'm with and let that person represent all people and give them the love that the Course is saying I should give everybody, then that is me sharing the love with everybody. Well, that takes care of my need to have one person all to myself, as well as believing that I'm benefiting everybody in that process if you choose to go that route. So let me check in. Are y'all following what I'm saying? So why is it that the person that should be the easiest to practice the gratitude and love and acceptance with, that's the one that we see as the challenge, when actually, if you're really following your heart and choosing who you really love and want to join with and really want to connect with, me telling you that the key to happiness is you showing that person full appreciation, that should make you jump up and down with joy, because that's the easiest person for you to love. That's the person that you care about the most. Interesting. Makes you want to go, So that means you're being blessed by every beneficent thought of any of your brothers anywhere. So everybody in the Course defines brother as equals. So whenever you see brothers, you could just substitute the word equals. Okay? So you're being blessed by every beneficial thought of your equals anywhere. Everybody's being benefited by the thoughts we are sharing right now. In case you're wondering, what can you do to save the planet? Focusing in on love and the truth and letting those thoughts go into the thoughts of everyone is the best thing that you could possibly do, because people's behavior is coming from their thinking. And if we can affect thinking, that's when we're going to see the behaviors of people around us change. So every time you practice the course or any truth teaching, every part of us benefits, and everybody in the world, in the universe, benefits equally every time you become more sane and more loving. So, since you're being blessed by everybody else, what is it that you should want to do? Well, you should want to bless them in return. If I'm blessing you, you should want to bless me. If I'm blessing you, you should want to bless me. How and why? Out of gratitude. I'm glad anytime any one of you let yourselves be happy and give yourself anything that would bring you joy, and you let yourself be in a loving relationship, and you let yourself be in a career, whatever you do in the world, and it's making you happy, you walking, you dancing, you partying, whatever, and you're happy. I want to bless you for that. I'm grateful that you will allow yourself to have some friggin' joy, because I benefit every time you are happy. So I want to bless you in gratitude. See, the Course in Miracles is your script. Imagine that you're an actor. The Course in Miracles is your script. Your spiritual path, whatever that path is. And I tell people all the time, everybody's not a Course in Miracles student. So I'm not saying the Course in Miracles is the only way to come to your joy. It's the way that's worked for me up to now, right? So what I'm telling you is, whatever your spiritual path is, that's your script. That's your instructions. That's what you're supposed to be saying, whether you believe it or not. Sincerity is not required, because if sincerity was not required, we would be asked to do this. Because until you really believe and accept the truth, you're not truly sincere about what you're saying about it. I can say you're one with me, but until I really have that realization, I don't really believe you're one with me. Because if I really did, it would be just as important to me that you were fed tonight as it's important to me that I be fed tonight. So let's get real. I am not seeing you as one with me yet. And I'm trying to get rid of the blocks that keep me from doing that. But guess what? That doesn't mean we're not one. See, my belief has nothing to do with facts. If it's a fact, it's true whether I believe it or not. You and I are one with each other. Our egos aren't. And it's our egos that's sitting in the room. It's our egos that think we're different from each other. So when the Course says love your brother, believe me, it is not asking you to love Earl Purdy's personality. It's not asking you to love the person that's the most horrible person to be around. All of a sudden you're supposed to go, well, I love him. I love them. You don't love them. That's their ego. Nobody's asking you to love an ego. Nobody's asking you to love an ego. Nobody's asking you to love a personality that's attacking and guilty and upset and judging. Nobody's asking you. What you are being asked to do is just to leave it alone. Let it be. Don't try to change it. Don't try to attack it. You just ignore the ego. But that's what's so hard for other egos to do. Because if an ego ignored an ego, then it would make the ego seem like it didn't exist. So my ego has to respond to your ego so that I can believe I have one that exists. And that's why we get caught up in each other's personalities, because we're trying to make them real. We're trying to make each other's personality real. But the challenge with that is that you are making up the personality of all the people around you. You are the one that's giving me an ego. If you have a perception of me right now, that is an ego that you are making up for me. Your opinion of Earl is nothing but your perception and interpretation of Earl. So all you're responding to is the ego of Earl you made up. And then you make up one for yourself too, by the way. And you call that your concept of yourself. So you tell me your concept of yourself, you're just describing your ego to me as you define your ego, but I'm gonna make up one for you too. And so I go, you know what? I really enjoyed being around Marjorie today. She seemed especially friendly and she seemed especially lovely. Well, actually, I'm the one that's interpreted Marjorie that way. I didn't even have a conversation with Marjorie. So I just made up an ego for Marjorie. And then, let's say I made up an ego that Marjorie came in extra quiet today, and so she didn't speak to me when she came in, right? So I go, Marjorie seemed like something wrong with her today. She don't look like, she ain't treating me the way I think I need to be treated. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm going to even give her a hug after the class. Now, notice I haven't said one thing to Marjorie. Then let me take it to the next level. Then I go, well, I was going to be upset with her, but Marjorie she's really been so consistent and so loving and so friendly to me. Marjorie's good. Now, I got upset with Marjorie and healed with Marjorie without ever saying a freaking thing to Marjorie. That's how you know our egos are not real. Because you can change your mind about somebody just by thinking about them and not even having a conversation with the actual person. So how many times are you doing that all day long? Reacting to the ego you are making up for the people around you. And then responding to them as if they're just the way you judge them to be. So your ego is your personality. And the Course in Miracles is saying that you don't have to know the people individually to bless them, and you don't have to know people individually to be blessed by them. Some of the greatest gifts that I've ever received as a teacher in terms of generosity and support for my teaching ministry have been from people I did not even know. The vast majority is from people that I don't know. So you can be constantly blessed by people that you don't know individually. And I like knowing it's not necessary for me to know everybody individually in order to be blessed by them. That sounds like a good deal to me. Does that sound like a good deal to you? That you could benefit from somebody that don't even know you? Well, the Course in Miracles says, the light is so strong, the joy is so strong that it radiates throughout the whole family and returns thanks to the Creator for radiating His joy upon it. So only the Creator's holy children are worthy channels of God's beautiful joy. So you're the only ones that's actually beautiful enough to hold joy and share joy. So to even hold the joy of God, you've got to be beautiful. And you are beautiful enough. You are beautiful enough. You are beautiful enough. You are beautiful enough. You're beautiful enough. You are beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Not only are you beautiful, you're beautiful enough. You don't have to even be more beautiful. I'm not asking you to even up your beauty game. Okay? I'm saying you're beautiful just the way you are. Try saying that to your friend, to your partner, to your relative with any kind of consistency and watch them change and transform before your very eyes. I've done it so many times with my own relatives and in my own family. That I took the responsibility for injecting, if possible, injecting some affection and some outward expression of love in my family, even though we weren't brought up as big huggers. So my first few hugs many years ago, I was met something like this. Now it's something like this. But I had to give what I wanted to receive and stop waiting for somebody to give me something before I give it to them. So whatever's missing in your life is what you aren't giving. That's what the Course says. That really upsets people. Because do you know so many people think they're giving something that they're not getting back? And the truth is, he says what's lacking is your faith. What's lacking is your faith. That's what you're not giving. The belief in you. How do I feel about you behind that expression of love? How do I feel about you behind that hug? Do I have faith in you? Do I have faith in the goodness in you? Do I have faith in the love that you are? The only thing that's lacking in any situation is the faith you haven't given. Wow, okay. Okay. So what's the next thing? He says, that's why, I love it. It's impossible for a child of love to love his neighbor except as himself. So So until I love you as myself, don't trust my love, because until I love you as myself, I don't really love you. Okay, so you want to know how to know if somebody really loves you? Do they love you as themselves? If they don't love you as themselves, they're not expressing real love to you yet. And you're not expressing real love to them yet. I'm keep on saying yet, and I'll tell you why. Because we are here to allow ourselves to remove the blocks to us expressing ourselves with real love. If we already knew how to do it, would we have any need to come to this class to study the course? So it is crazy for you to beat yourself up for not being able to perfectly do what you're just hearing about should be the goal. I'll say that again, because I see people do that all the time. You tell them they should have unconditional love and forgiveness, then they start beating themselves up because they can't immediately have unconditional love and forgiveness for the people around them. Nobody expects you to fly a jet the first day of flight school. You're just there because you want to learn how to fly a jet. So stop getting upset with yourself when you're not always good and always nice and always kind and always giving. Stop getting upset with yourself if you still know you get angry and you lose it and you have grievances. If you already knew how to let go of all of that, it wouldn't be any need for you to be on any kind of personal growth, spiritual path. Everybody around you know you can't do it. They know. They've seen you. As a matter of fact, the people who are most special to you have seen your shadow side that the public doesn't see. They've seen that you're not what you're putting yourself. I remember when I was so unconscious that I would be like the most kind Course in Miracles teacher and trying to, practice the course and go home and be a complete tyrant. And didn't even know it. So they saw a side of me that the public didn't see. Because the people you're in specialness with will always see all of it. So that's why it's so important to be with someone that you want to be with in a friendship or a relationship where both of y'all know that you're not wholehearted yet. You know you're not completely joyful and aware of the truth yet. And then you set the goal and the purpose in your relationship of having that kind of love and that kind of joy with each other. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about anybody that you single out for any reason is a special relationship. Wow. So Thanksgiving is a tremendous forgiveness opportunity for a lot of people. Family is the ones that get you in touch with how much you're saying you've changed versus how much you've actually changed. You can say you've forgiven and you got the course down and you're more loving, but the people who most have affected your conditioning will be the ones that can trigger it the best. So how do I know, Earl? How do I know what to do if I'm at the table and the turkey's on the table and I want to take the turkey and hit my daddy over the head with it? What do I do? What do I do? First thing you do is breathe. And the next thing you do is you don't do that. Because if I'm angry and I'm upset and I'm ready to clobber you, if you're becoming aware, you know that just having that feeling means you're in your ego and that you're in your wrong mind and you're getting ready to make a mistake by the way you feel. It couldn't be that easy, Earl. It couldn't be that simple. Yes, it is. It is that simple. And the reason why it's not simple to you is because attacking and getting upset is more important to you than practicing peace in that moment. Your desire to attack them is stronger than your desire to have peace with them. And that's why it seems like what I just said to you is impossible, because you still want to go off. So, is that oneness? He says, no, that's not oneness, because we've already heard oneness is joy. Oneness is love. I'm seeing you correctly, so the happier I can let myself be with you, the clearer I will see you. The clearer I will see you, the better I will treat you. The better I treat you, the better you're going to treat me, and we're going to have more peace and more harmony with each other. And when we are upset and we're not experiencing the joy and we are being afraid, that will be our clue that we must not be seeing something correctly, because we're upset, because we're angry, because we're afraid, and because we're having a grievance. That is the way we know we're misperceiving. That's how you know you're misperceiving. You are the one that's upset. So, this is why the healer's prayer is, let me know this, brother, as I know myself. Let me know this equal as I know myself. If I want to heal with you, let me know you as I know myself. 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 A lot of times I feel my ego coming up and I want to attack. And since I've learned these incantations from the course, as I call them, you know those Harry Potter movies when the wizards always have this big old book. And then they say, well, we got to have what's the spell for, having more health, And then they go to the book, and then they see it, and it goes, abracadabra, okay? Now, then they say it, and then poof, it happens, right? Since abracadabra works, it works regardless of whether or not they believe it, if they say it. The Course in Miracles is exactly the same way. It's full of incantations that it calls these little prayers that it tells you to say when something comes up. Did you know the Course in Miracles is full of things you're supposed to say when you're upset or afraid? The book has little prayer after little prayer. And do you know in 41 years of studying the Course in Miracles, speaking at countless seminars and traveling over the world and sharing, I can count the number of times on one hand that I've heard a Course in Miracles student immediately go to one of these incantations and prayers that this Course says and then says it. And that amazes me. That you would think I would run into somebody that would go, okay, I'm upset right now. And the Course in Miracles says, this holy instant what I give to you, be you in charge, for I will follow you, certain this direction, your direction gives me peace. So you would think somebody would go, in a relationship, he told me to say, I give you to the Holy Spirit as part of myself. I know you will be released unless I want to use you to imprison myself. In the name of my freedom, I choose your release because I recognize we will be released together. How many times have you said that in any relationship that you've had with anybody since you've studied the Course in Miracles? Never. And don't feel bad about it because I haven't heard anybody else that studied the Course in Miracles say that when they were in the middle of an upset either. Isn't that interesting though? That no one, I'm not saying, I'm sure there are people that do, but I'm saying personally, I've never met any. And I met a lot of Course in Miracles students. These are your incantations. If you will say the things that he tells you, the Course tells you to say, that is symbolic of your willingness to have the Holy Spirit heal the situation, not you. It's your way of letting your higher self know that you are willing to get out of the driver's seat for a minute and let what could really heal you, heal you. It's a symbolic gesture. It's showing that you are willing. It's showing that you are actually surrendering. Because if you're surrendering to spirit, it's called doing what it says. If you're going to surrender to me, then that means you're going to think the way I tell you to think. Is that not right? If somebody's controlling how you're thinking, all they're doing is telling you how to think and you do it. Right? So how is it that a person can say they're obeying their spiritual path and obeying the Course, for instance, but they don't remember and they're not doing what it's telling them to do? And it said the healer's prayer is, let me know this, brother, as I know myself. So if I'm really surrendering to my higher power through this form, then I would do what I'm told. And what I'm being told is to say, let me know you as I know myself. Let me know you as I know myself. I've already been told I don't have to believe it. I've already been told I don't have to welcome it. I've already been told that I might resist it. I've already been told I might find it startling. I've already been told I might find it hard to believe. So therefore, me believing what I'm saying has nothing to do with anything. I'm supposed to say it, regardless of how I feel about it, regardless of whether I believe it, regardless of whether I'm bored with it, regardless of whether I resist it. I need to be saying, if I want to heal, I need to say, let me know this brother as I know myself. Let me know this person as I know myself. Let me know this person. So if there's a person or a situation that right now you know you need to heal with, then have you already said this? Just since I brought it up? Right. So we're not conditioned, are we not? We're not conditioned to say this. We haven't been taught to say this. So how do I get to the point I said, Earl? I just say it. Because the one thing human beings can do, and the one thing that the average human being is great at, is saying stuff they really don't believe. Nobody can beat human beings for that. I love you. I really don't believe it. Everything's going to go right for me, but I got my doubts. So don't say you can't say stuff you don't believe. You can. So Spirit is saying, I'm going to use that to your advantage. I'm going to make that work out for you, buddy. I'm going to tell you some things for you to say, and they'll work even if you don't believe it. But the biggest challenge is going to be to get you to say it. And then people go, well, why is it so hard? Because it will get you out of pain. It will get you out of drama. It will get you out of guilt if you say it. And guess what, you little sweet, juicy child of God? You don't believe you deserve any of that. So you are not going to do the thing that's going to give you joy if you don't think you deserve it. You're not going to give yourself the relationship that gives you joy if you think you don't deserve it. So if someone tells you to say something that will give you what you think you don't deserve, how much energy do you think you're going to put into it? Very little, because you'll actually get the love you think you don't deserve. So that's why I tell you, you are beautiful enough. You're beautiful enough. You're beautiful enough. You're beautiful enough. You are beautiful enough. You are beautiful enough. You're beautiful enough. And please enter into relationships and friendships and connections with people who in one way or another are saying to you, you're beautiful enough. The way you are is just fine. I am satisfied. It's all good. And watch you begin to believe over a period of time, if you have any doubts, you'll begin to believe you really do deserve this joy and happiness that this book is talking about. And the minute you start to believe that you really do deserve it, what's going to be the first thing you do to let yourself know that you are now believing you're deserving it? You will start to do what you're being asked to do. That's how you will know. You'll be saying, let me know this, brothers, I know myself. And then sometimes you'll be, let me know this something as I know myself. It doesn't always mean you're going to say it in a cute way. It doesn't mean you're going to, oh, let me know this brother as I know myself. You might go, let me know this brother as I know myself, Lord. Let me know this brother as I know myself. Actually, that'll probably work better because of the level of emotion and feeling and intensity behind the words. Because you're saying that, let me know my brother as I know myself. That's just all head stuff. But then you go, let me know this brother as I know myself, because if you get in front of me one more time. See, that's a lot of energy behind the truth. And now you're using your so-called anger to bless you. All right, I'm going to do a quick little recap in a minute. And what we did was the introduction to the invitation of the Holy Spirit. That's really what it ended up being. Ow! Those of you who would like to make a financial expression of appreciation to my teaching ministry, I love you. I appreciate it. If you'd like to do that, let me pass this out to you, Don. Thank you. If you'd like to do that, please go to earlpurdy.com. And you can make a donation there. Or there are three other ways. You can make a donation through Venmo, through the Cash App, through PayPal, and through Zelle. I guess that is 4. And all you need is my email address. And my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's Purdy. Earl Purdy. Thank you. You know, doing the Course in Miracles full time for 34 years, one of the things that I'm most grateful for is that it told me that every one of us has a mission and a purpose, and if we come here and we do what our purpose and our mission is, we will be given what we need to stay. Then it says, well, what is your mission and your purpose? Well, your mission and your purpose is forgiveness. Is to learn to forgive. What is forgiveness? He said, well, forgiveness is correct perception. It's true perception. So when you forgive me, you're seeing me correctly and you're seeing me truly. So the Course in Miracles says to forgive is to correctly interpret, to correctly perceive. So your function on this earth is to be on this earth with the right mind. That is your function. It's hard for people to believe that. That if you would be here and think the way love thinks and the way that truth thinks, you're actually fulfilling your function. And you're going to find you will always be, in an obvious way, provided for. You're always provided for anyway. But the difference is when you're obeying your Creator, you become aware of it and you allow it in. The ocean doesn't care if you go with a teaspoon or a bucket. Some people go with teaspoons. Some people go to the ocean with wheelbarrows. But then we'll say they're blessed. Oh, he's more lucky than me. She's more lucky than me. No, she went with a bucket and you went with a thimble. And that's why it looks like some people have more than you have. It has to do with how willing they are to allow it, to let it in. But it's always equally available. That's so cool. That one of the reasons why I got into New Thought to begin with was because growing up as a person with the color body I have, one of the things that I heard over and over again growing up was all the ways I was limited and all the things I couldn't have and how I was being repressed because of the color of my skin. So I got into New Thought because it promised that there were universal laws that apply to everyone equally, regardless of their race, creed, gender, color, or ethnic group. So I didn't want my blessings to be dependent on some people liking me or not. Amen. I wanted to get in touch with what would provide for me regardless of how anybody felt about me. And then this book turns around today and tells us, well, the way you do that is to allow yourself to be happy and not to feel guilty about doing that, right? Yeah, and so so remember that I'm available. Those of you who really want to go deeper and want to take advantage of my 41 years of being obsessed with this and teaching this and save yourself some time and help get the blocks out of the way, because you're not going to bring up anything that I haven't heard before. You know, I promise you that your problem is not unique. It's your specialist that tells you yours is different. So therefore, it couldn't work for you like it does for other people. So let me help you help yourself. Let me help you. Those of you who know the Course in Miracles is your path. And so you want to really study it and be committed to it, and you like some tips and you like to know the best way to approach it. Then I'm also available for tutoring and mentoring. I'm here to be helpful. I'm here to be helpful to those who resonate to me, and they're sincere themselves. Because I cannot spend 5 minutes trying to keep a person awake or motivated. Somebody that's inspired by spirit, they are excited about the prospect of getting what they want. So don't tell me you really want something and you don't have any enthusiasm about it. If you really want something, you're going to be enthusiastic about it. If you say anything and it has a hollow feeling or a fake feeling and it doesn't excite you, it's something you used to believe, but it's not something you believe in right now. That's all. These are kind of things that's so cool. So the Course in Miracles said to us today, next Sunday, I'm going to be still doing my live broadcast for Facebook Live at 1 o'clock, but I won't be in town, so we won't be doing the live class next Sunday. But it will be online. I'll still be doing it live online. I'm going to go get my love test. I'm going to go home for Thanksgiving and get my love test. Do you know what the love test is? I'm going to see. See, they don't know I'm going to be the tester. I'm going to see how much love and acknowledgement and gratitude they can handle from me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come at them with so much love and gratitude and appreciation. I'm going to think of everything anyone has ever done for me my whole life. And I'm going to bring it up and tell them how grateful I am and how beautiful I think they are and how perfect I think they are and how full of gratitude I am. So that's the kind of test that I'm going to have for Thanksgiving. It's not going to be the test of how they're going to treat me and how much love they're going to give to me. The test for me is, okay, step up your gratitude, Purdy. Can you step up your gratitude? Can you step it up to another level? Because if you do that, that love that you're giving and that happiness that you're giving, it's going to benefit every one of your relatives and every one of your friends, everyone everywhere, everyone everywhere. It's exciting. You're right. That's exciting. I love that. You are beautiful enough, so since you're so beautiful, Spirit is going to give you the joy because you are beautiful and holy enough to share it. There's no difference between love and joy. So who do you feel joy around? When you're around, who is it that you make yourself feel really good when you're in their presence? Well, that's someone you're letting love come through. If you find yourself upset a lot, you're still innocent, but what you're doing is calling for joy. You're requesting joy. You're calling for joy. When you're judging, when you're criticizing, when you feel depressed, when you feel angry, when you feel misunderstood, when you feel unloved, you're just calling for joy. You're calling for joy. You're calling for joy. You're calling for happiness. And every time you let yourself become happy, that's the same as saying every time you let yourself experience joy, you're integrating. You're making yourself one with everything around you. So what is it that you can do the rest of this day? What can you do the rest of this week that will give you joy, that will give you happiness, that will make you feel grateful, that will make you feel thrilled? You owe it to all of us. You owe it to everyone to let yourself be loved. You may not realize, but right now you're being blessed. Right now you're being blessed. You're being blessed by every beneficent thought of any one of your equals anywhere. In this very moment, if there's anyone in the entire world that's having a beneficial thought, if there's anyone in this entire world that's feeling grateful in this moment, if there's anyone in the entire world that's feeling joyful in whatever they're doing right now, if there's all the people in the world that are feeling happy for any reason, they are benefiting you. They are benefiting you. Everyone that's in a thrilling relationship, having a happy surprise, that's doing something that they really like to do. Anybody on earth right now that's doing that, that's somebody that's benefiting us right now. That's someone that's benefiting you right now. There's someone that's bringing more joy to you right now, more abundance to you right now, more love to you right now. And you don't have to know them. It's not necessary for them to know you, and it's not necessary for you to know them. But you know what we should do? We should be blessing them. We should bless them in gratitude. I bless my equals because I bless myself. I bless my equals because I bless myself. When you bless yourself, you bless others. There's a Course in Miracles lesson that says I bless the world, and so I bless myself. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are beautiful. 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 Think about how many opportunities you've had to make yourself happy. And think about how many times you have refused. Remember that means you have refused to heal yourself. So are you willing to heal yourself? Are you willing to heal yourself? Are you willing to heal yourself? Are you willing to heal yourself starting right now? Are you willing to let yourself have joy? Are you willing to let yourself have fun? Are you willing to let yourself have happiness? Are you willing to let yourself have abundance? Are you willing to let yourself have peace? Are you willing to let yourself have health? Are you willing to let yourself? Are you willing to let yourself? Every time you let yourself become happy today, anytime you feel good for any reason today, you're benefiting everybody. You're benefiting everybody. You're bringing healing to the world. And So don't be surprised if people respond to you in different ways. Don't think that that's something wrong if people respond to you in different ways, because right now your happiness isn't 100% yet. You're moving in that direction, but your love isn't 100% yet. So sometimes you're going to call forth different kinds of responses at the same time. God's will for you is perfect happiness. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Your Creator's will for you is perfect happiness, complete happiness, complete happiness. That which created you only wants you to have complete love. It wants you to have complete love. So you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say that all I want you to have is complete love. Total love, only love. That's all I want you to have. All that I want you to have is total love, complete love. That's all I want you to have. That's God's will for you. And so therefore, that is my will for you. I appreciate y'all for coming out. Y'all awesome. That's all I want for you. That's all I want for you. You owe it to me to be happy. Thank you so much. Hey, share this video.